Kerry Smith here from Smith Radio. I just want to make this video real quick. This is about the crowd size at the inauguration for Donald Trump. There's a big controversy. It seems like the fake stream media has come out with articles comparing the Obama inauguration crowd sizes to the Trump crowd sizes, and it caused a big firestorm between the press corps and the White House, which I didn't think was really necessary. I thought that it was really just silly stuff that shouldn't be talked about. There's more important stuff. I thought that the bust of MLK being taken was a much bigger... That was really what started the whole thing, and then they got into this crowd size thing. I felt like it was a bait for the White House to get caught up into a snare, and that's pretty much what happened. But turns out fake news will be fake news. According to Gateway Pundit, and I don't know where they got this from, but apparently CNN has released an updated pic to show Trump's inaugural size. So here, let's scroll down to show you what the original controversial picture was. So on the left of this picture here, you see the inauguration size for President Obama, and these pictures were taken at the top of the Washington Monument to give you a good aerial view. And on the right side, you see what they're claiming to be the Trump crowd for his inaugural in 2017. And the one on the left would be 2009, as you could see here. And you could see that there's a very, very large crowd compared to looks like a pretty mediocre crowd. And I was there. So I can tell you right now that the right side picture does not reflect what I remember. I wasn't all the way back here in the back though, but I did look back that way, and I did take pictures in that direction, and I didn't see anything like this. Also, while in the place that we were at, we had monitors, giant, huge monitors, where you can actually watch the televised version of the inaugural while you're standing in this crowd. And I do remember seeing at least one picture, or I should say a video, real quickly, of the camera that's on top of the Washington Monument. And I remember it looking like a sea of people. I don't remember seeing very much space where there weren't people at all. So that's just my anecdotal memory of the inaugural myself. So here is one of the updated pictures. I'm sorry that I'm not zoomed in here so you could see it better, but I'm going to get you some zoom pictures here in a second. So what I see here is a zoomed picture towards it looks like the camera will have been on top of the building. There's a building off to the side, right in the direction of where this picture be taken from, where CNN had photographers and cameras on top of the building. And it was covered by a tent. And if you follow me on Twitter, I may have put a picture up of the CNN huts on top of this building. So this is definitely looking like a picture from the CNN. And you could see all the way back to these white buildings back here. These are temporary, like tents or something like that. They're definitely temporary buildings. They were only put up for the inauguration. And you could see that it appears that people go just about all the way back to the building with almost no space in here. There's I could see a little bit of light in through here in this one section where there's maybe a less dense amount of people right here. So I decided, you know what? There are at least 2 8-hour videos on YouTube of the entire inauguration. So I decided to scan through them for you. And as you can see, here's one of them. This is an NBC. It's about 8 hours and 5 minutes. And there's also, I must have got rid of it. Yeah, there's also an ABC one. And I did some screenshots, and let's take a look at those. Let's get rid of this real quick. So right here is the actual picture that was used in the side-by-side picture. And you could see there's giant, giant spaces where there's nobody there. This was the actual picture that they used. And if you look down here on the bottom left, you'll see what time of the video I captured this. So we're 1 hour and 31 minutes into this 8-hour video. And so that might not mean much to you. What part of the inauguration is this? And so, and let me show you too, there's also people lots of people, lines of people all along the side here still making their way in. And you could see people walking down the sides here getting to their area that they want to watch the inauguration. So we're at 1:31. And by the way, the NBC version and the ABC version, their timing on their 8-hour videos are not the same. And I'll show you at the end how I was able to line these up. It turns out that they're about 22 minutes and 20 seconds apart. And I actually accounted for that in the actual name of the picture. So here it says 1:31:49, and if you look at how I save this, it's saved as 1:31:49. Ignore the PM, that's not actual time, because the inauguration was at noon. The actual swearing in was at noon or close to it. Okay, so let's go to the next picture. Next picture is of ABC News, and we have 1:16 down here, and this is an 8.5 hour video. We're at 1:16, but I adjusted for that 22 minutes, and you can see we're at 1:38 as compared to the other video. So this is about 7 minutes after the previous video, and you could see those white areas, but they're a lot. This is kind of a different vantage point, but you could see they're shrinking. So in just 7 minutes, I would say that these open areas without people in them have shrunk significantly. And I have a last slide here that really proves a point about how quickly these can fill up with people. So let's move on to the next one. Oh, get rid of that. Okay, so we were at 38, so now we're at 51. Now, I wanted to show this picture. This is Donald Trump coming down the steps and entering into the area where he's going to swear in. So the last slide was at 1:38, and this is 1:51. So we're, what is that, like about 15 minutes later that he comes in. So there's a full 15 minutes more of people showing up before Trump comes along. So he's coming down, and here we go. Now we're 15 minutes after that. You can start to see this is starting to really fill in. There's this one white area off to the side here. But other than this one white area, and there's a little bit of lightness here, this is really filling in nicely. And you could see these giant mobs. Now, the reason why there's a big, giant group of people here and there's these distinct lines is those are actual barricades. So the people can't get past those. And same thing on this side. So there's large crowds, and they follow all along the side here in front of this barricade. And same thing with over here. So this is really packed in tightly. Obviously, maybe more of this street could be filled. Maybe more of this street could be filled. My argument is not that Trump had more people than Obama, and I don't think that matters. There's a whole bunch of articles written that explain why that there's a distinct advantage for Trump, or I should say for Obama during his inauguration, that he would have numbers, one of which is the home field advantage phenomenon of D.C. D.C. went 93% Democrat for the general election, just to let you know. That's like ridiculous. 7% for Trump and 93% for Hillary, and that's actually common on every general election. So this is their home field. They don't even have to travel here to fill this up. So let's move on to the next one. So this was at 2:05. Here we are, 2:18. So this is about 8 minutes later. Now this is a zoom, and that white area that you saw earlier would be this area here. There's a little bit of light, so this is getting pretty full here, and almost all the way back to the building. And the next slide I have was taken almost exactly the same time, within seconds of each other. See, this says 2:18 up here. We go to the next one. This is 2:18:13. So this is almost exactly the same time. And you see that white area. Other than that, yeah, this is pretty much it here. And I'm running out of disk space, so I got to wrap this up. And here's the swearing in. These next two slides were taken almost exactly the same time of the day, but you see the time difference. This is at 1:56, and the next one almost exactly the same time, 2:19:07. So about 22 minutes and 20 seconds later for each, but they were taken at the same time. And then this last slide shows this is about 11 minutes after he was swearing in, and you could see how much this is dispersed. So very quickly, people can come and go in large numbers. Thousands and thousands of people can come and go very, very quickly. So, yeah, my argument isn't that it wasn't bigger than the Obama one, but what I am saying is that the pictures and everything that they were doing was very dishonest, and I think it was done on purpose. Notice how the only aerial footage that you see from the Washington Monument is from quite a bit of time before the swearing in and 11 minutes after. This is an ABC News aerial footage from Washington Monument. I didn't find any that from the Washington Monument that were perfectly timed during the actual swearing in, and that tells me a lot about what they're trying to do here and the narrative they're trying to push. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it tells you something. Carrie Smith, Smith Radio. Follow me at